we got? What we got? What we got? Yeah, boy. What we got? What we got? What we got? Yeah, boy. What we got? What we got? What we got? Yeah, boy. Can't wait. Oh no, it's a pretty good name. I thought it was a good name at least. The Saturday Night Slowdown. I'm an Uber driver, so I go live on Saturday nights. Like I have to work at the retail position, and then I go live on Saturday nights. Call it Saturday Night Slowdown. You know what I mean? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for following along. We're here. Just chugged 2 beers. We're doing good. Good Saturday so far. I might need to put the fan on a little bit here. I don't know. Maybe roll down the window. Just a crack. A little crack in it. Something like that. That's not bad. Yeah, but we're here for the Saturday Night Slowdown. Live from Florida. It's Saturday night. Anyway, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah. What in the fuck? Y'all gotta go the other way, man. You can't be coming in here. This ain't the place for you right now. Like for real, man. Y'all gotta go somewhere else. I don't know if you realize this, but this ain't really the place to hang out, bro. Come on. God, damn fucking lightning bugs, man. I gotta put the windows down because it's hot. You know what I mean? Gotta have airflow, some circulation. But as soon as I roll the windows down, all these fucking lightning bugs come in through here. God damn, man. How you doing? Welcome. Just kind of hanging out, trying to find trying to do what I can here. I don't have too much lighting. I'm homeless, living in the car. Been living in the car since September, doing a thing, working retail. But you know how retail it is. It ain't worth the shit. Trying to do what I can, man. But in between the retail job and Uber, but ain't nobody running Uber because they're getting rich. You know what I mean? Running Uber because you're trying to get debt. Yeah, retail job's not giving me a lot of time per week. That's okay. I am gonna get a better phone here in the next couple weeks or so. I go live on Saturdays at 10, and then Mondays and Wednesdays at 9, for the most part, at least at this point. Trying to build a YouTube channel because I feel like I've got a pretty good story overall. You know what I mean? Granted, I'm just a dude. I can only do so much day to day without other people's help. But I don't know. As for right now, I'm trying to just get a piece of land. Want to get a piece of land, and I don't really need a whole house. You know what I mean? Just a piece of land that I can call mine. Just park my car on my own private property for the time being. Build from there, obviously, but start with a molehill. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a whole mountain right away. Start with a molehill and keep adding to it. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, I've been living in the car. Okay, well, see y'all later. All right, I had 25 viewers for a quick second there. Anyway, I knew that wasn't gonna last. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I am currently drinking, so right, I'm doing that, but not doing it on screen. So you know what I mean, trying to, but I am a little buzzed. I've got 2 more beers. Well, they're they're not just like regular beers. They're They're stronger. But anyway, I took two of them and I, didn't chug them because I can't really chug, but I did. I drank two as quick as I could, and then I went live, and then I got two more to drink throughout the live, basically. So should be a pretty interesting show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. I hate asking. I hate begging. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that's in every single video he's like, "Hey, by the way, guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe." Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. Like I'm just for the time being, I'm doing it because the channel's so small. You know what I mean? I want to upgrade my phone. Obviously, I feel like it's only beneficial to the channel to upgrade my phone. I've been playing with this phone. I thought it was an S23, but apparently it's an A23. So just bear with me. I'm trying to get a Google Pixel 10 because I'm not a fan of Apple. I don't know. I feel like Apple's for liberals. I don't know. It feels like the liberal phone company. Sorry if you are. You know what I mean. I'm not really that I'm a hardcore trumpeter either. You know what I mean. It's just I'm in favor of us actually making like a 3 or maybe a 5-party system. You know what I mean? So that way we can actually pick the best candidate. We're not just voting against red or voting against blue. You know what I mean? 'Cause more or less, you vote against one candidate than you do. You don't really vote for one guy. You're voting because you don't want to see the other one. And I don't know. But yeah, it's really the way that we fix it is just go a 3 or a 5-party system. They all know it, but I don't know. If you keep people divided, yeah, top. You know, it's like whether you paint it red or you paint him blue, it's still an asshole you're voting for. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a fan of iPhones. I want to reteach myself how to use the phone. Granted, it would probably only take me, at the maybe 3 months to to learn the ins and outs of it because I don't do too much with my phone. You know what I mean? Not a female in high school, but you get what I'm saying. I don't know. Trying to do small upgrades to the channel. Keep viewership. I don't know. Try to figure if I can get somebody with me. I don't know. Get somebody hanging out in the back seat. Be more than just me talking to you. Anyway, sorry, I'm a little bit drunk tonight. Not drunk, but yeah, we're chilling. It was pre-planned. You know what I mean? We're hanging out. But yeah, I've been living in the car since September. It's not too bad, man. You try to, you know what I mean? Like as long as she keeps running, it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? But if she stops running, oh man, we're gonna have some shit falling apart. Granted, I've got enough money in savings that I could just buy and do like under 5K car. A car that's under 5,000, but it'll still get around the block. Something less than 200,000 miles on it. It's gonna suck. It's gonna really set me back, but you know what I mean. It basically the way I see it, right? Even if I were to find a place that was like 600 a month, right? Say I'm renting a room off of somebody, or I'm living on somebody's back porch, or in somebody's yard, or say I found something 600 a month, right? That would still be $20 every day. That I would be negative. I'd be negative $20 each and every single day. I don't know what's going on with the chat. I hope the chat's working. I'm sorry if y'all are chatting. I don't see any of the chats. I might have to close this live stream and make another live stream. I do apologize if y'all are. If anybody has chatted or said something, I do apologize. It's this phone more than anything. This phone's a piece of shit. It's got like no RAM. The camera on is bullshit. Oh, everybody left. All right, cool. Well, I had some viewership. For a minute there. But yeah, I'm trying to do my thing, man. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. I think the chat might be fucked up. I don't know. Maybe people aren't chatting, but it did show me with like 10 viewers steady. I had 10 viewers. I had 25 viewers. I had, so I figured somebody must have chatted by now. I it can't just be the second time out. Like, you know what I mean? For real. I think the chat's fucking up. I haven't gotten to see the chat yet. There was a couple chats, and like before I even went live, there was a couple chats, and somebody was like, you know, it was like, oh, I can't wait, you know, let's go, let's go. You know what I mean? I don't know. I tried to be on time. You know, I know I got it set for 10:05. You know, that way it gives me, you know, 5 minute layover. Kind of, I don't know. But I don't think the chat is working. That's the thing. I really need to upgrade this phone, man. There's always something. Like, at least get a phone that has better signal. You know, if it doesn't have better signal, at least has better RAM, so it can process the whatever little signal it's got better. I'm sorry, man. I don't think the chat's working. I might have to close this live stream. But man, I'm ready, fired up. Got some beer. Want to chug another one? I go off. I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know if the chat's working or not. I assume it's not working because I can't. There's nothing popping up on my end. I feel like somebody would have at least said hello or something. You know what I mean? And I don't want to just be sitting here like, you know, open ended at nothing. I don't know. Damn, man. Sorry, man. Fuck. Hey, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Sorry, I think the chat's fucked up. I don't know if for sure. I haven't gotten a message yet. I've been live for about 12 minutes. I've had some viewership coming in, and you know, people coming in and going, and I don't know if the chat is actually working for me to actually, you know, I don't know. Been sitting here, I've drunk a couple beers already, hanging out. Got a couple more I'm gonna drink, but I'm just trying to get, you know, trying to get everything situated as far as this. And if the chat ain't working, I'm gonna have to close the live stream and make another one or something. I don't know. It's this fucking piece of shit phone. You know what I mean? Honestly, it was doing all right. Like, it wasn't bad. It's just, you know, it just needed to be upgraded. You know, it was doing all right. And the moment I go and start looking for another phone, you know what I mean? Then this phone's like fucking 10x. You know, 10x, like all the problems that were wrong with it. You know what I mean? Everything that was wrong with it, now it just multiplied. So I don't know. Like, I'm gonna keep it as a phone. You know, I mean, I'm just gonna get a second line basically. I'm gonna keep this as a phone, but I don't know if the chat's working because nobody's responding in the chat at all. And I know, you know, like, if you're quiet people, you know, just, you know, you do your thing, man. I'm not trying to say, you know, but I can't, you know what I mean? There's nothing for me to bounce off of if the chat's not working. You know what I mean? It just, and I don't think it's working because I feel like I would have got a message by now. I'm gonna give it another like minute and a half or so because, you know, a couple people did come in and like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Probably the two people that are hanging with me right now, they're trying to converse with me, but I can't read what you're saying. You know what I mean? I don't want you to waste your energy either. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna give it another couple minutes just out of benefit of the doubt, just to see if, you know, somebody's just ain't chatted yet at all. I don't know. But that's, you know, the kind of reason I go live. You know what I mean? Kind of reason I go live is to, you know, hang out with whoever wants, you know, whoever's here hanging, you know, whoever else finds me interesting. But I do think I got a pretty good story. You know what I mean? Like, the picture of it all. I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing. You know what I mean? But I can honestly say the more money I'm able to save here in this country, the better off I'll be when I'm able to leave it. You know what I mean? Because I was looking at places in the Philippines today. Not necessarily, not like I was like on a realtor website or nothing like that, but there was a guy. He's living in the Philippines now. He's like retired in the Philippines, and he was saying he's got a place that's on the beach, like a place with a pool on the beach, right? Like, he just looks over his over his privacy fence, and he can see the beach. He's that close to the beach. $300 a month. right? And it's not a bad place. Like it's it's not you know what I mean. Like $300 a month. So I'm supposed to pay $1,000 a month to live in a fucking shithole here. You know what I mean? Or I could save the money for myself for later on. You know what I mean? And then move as quickly as I can, honestly. But at the same time, I can't move to the Philippines and rely on working. You know what I mean? I might be able to find something I do. You know, maybe I can be a hand on a boat, fishing or something like that. But I would need to go with a decent chunk of change already. You know what I mean? I don't know. I really don't think the chat's working. I'm gonna have to make another live stream because I don't. You know what I mean? I'm missing the majority of the reason why I went live was to chat with y'all. You know what I mean? And if I can't read what y'all are chatting, I have to make another live stream. I'm sorry. I tried to give it a couple minutes or whatever, this, that, and the other, but if the chat's not working, I can't. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to. It's just this phone. I do need to upgrade it. Bear with me. Okay, chat is working. All right, cool. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. That's the first actual chat that I've even gotten. I don't know if it's Signal probably. It's probably my shitty phone. I don't know. But I am trying to upgrade it, because like now that the channel's got some sort of a following, you know what I mean. It's time for me to like double down to it. You know what I mean. Uh, and I don't know, kind of like I told my mom today. You know what I mean. I told my mom I was like, I've got 420 subscribers. She's like, what? She almost couldn't believe it. You know what I mean. And it's really nothing still. You know what I mean. But I still feel like over 400. I'm about halfway to 1,000. Not necessarily, but the second half should go a little bit quicker anyway. You know what I mean? Just trying to get my story out there. If y'all are, I don't know, man. If you've ever given a homeless man $1, subscribe to my channel. You know what I mean? It's for free, man. It's not gonna hurt you. At least when I get to 1,000 subscribers, yeah, you can unsub. I won't blame you. You know what I mean? But help me out in the meantime. I'm trying to get there. I'm working 2 jobs basically between Uber and I got a parts job. Do car parts, counter guy selling car parts. You know what I mean? Not a lot of time that I get out of there because I'm not a mechanic. I'm not like a previous mechanic. I really don't like touching people's cars. There's a dude that came in tonight, and the other person I was working with, they sold the windshield wiper, and then they turn and ask me to put it on. And I'm like, really? And granted, the other person, like, I don't know. I try not to be ageist, but at the same time, the other person, they were younger than me, and then they turned to me and asked me to do their job, basically, because they were the one that sold the wiper. But anyway, I don't know. The major part of it is I just really don't like touching people's cars. You know what I mean? Whether it's just installing a window wiper or not, like I don't want to. It's your car. It's your. It's not maybe not as important as your child, but it basically what I mean. It takes about as much of your income as if it were a child that you don't care about. You know what I mean? The car itself. You know what I mean? It's like give as much as much income as you give into your car. It's like a stepchild or something, at least. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to touch it. I don't. Like, granted, I work in cars, so I have to. You know what I mean? The guy tonight, I told him about your windshield wiper, the arm. If this mechanism that moves the blade, that's $300. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to. It's like I can't. I played with it a little bit, but if it don't come apart, if I can't like change the batteries and a remote, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's probably signal. I'm losing people. I don't know. It's probably people just leaving because they're not dealing with that fucking spinning wheel bullshit, which I don't blame them. I'm pretty drunk. I got 2 more beers to drink. This is good. I'm not like super drunk, but you know what I mean? I feel a little bit of a lift off. Yeah, I got some cigarettes too, man. We're chilling. I'm gonna drink this beer quickly. You know what I mean? Because I don't want it to get hot. I don't have any kind of refrigeration or nothing. I think it's currently like 80 degrees. Feels like it at least. No, I didn't get the wiper on it. I fucked with it. The guy seen me struggling with it. You know what I mean? I was trying to read the instructions on what to do to even. He didn't have one of the J hooks. Like normally they just have like a hook. Like 80% of wiper blades just have a hook, and then you just snap the wiper blade in, and the way that they wipe, you know what I mean, in physics, and the wiper pulls the opposite way, you know what I mean, it only gets tighter because the way that the J hook works and the way you put the wiper on, you know what I mean, it only tightens as it wipes, way that physics works, you know what I mean, it's centrifugal for, or, it's the law of centrifugal momentum, or, you know what I mean. But anyway, he didn't have the J hook type. He had like an L hook or an I hook, something. You know what I mean? He had like a different hook, and it was, I don't know. I couldn't. The blade he had on it broke off, so the blade that was on it I couldn't even get off. I did put the adapt. I tried to do what I could, man, but we're like 30 minutes from closing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I pretty much bullshitted my closing tasks because I was looking at my schedule for the next week, and the dude he fucked me out of my hours the next week, and so I wasn't feeling good because of that. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't like being there anyway, so granted, I'm like, oh, cool. In the bigger picture, yeah, I don't have to show up next Sunday, so that's cool. It's more time I can spend Ubering, and more money I could probably ultimately make if I do Uber during those hours instead. I could ultimately make more money, you know what I mean? But it just sucked because looking at the schedule and losing half of my hours from the week before, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I just do the job because they you know what I mean? This is where the system has put me at this point. You know what I mean? Like I'm 33. If there was anything I wanted to do, I'd already fucking be doing it. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, this is where the system has put me because they think I'm going to learn cars by being here, which I have learned a little bit, but it's like, it's very uno poquito. You know what I mean? Very, very, very little, just a little tiny bit that I've actually learned about cars from working there. A part of my knowledge I've already kind of understood from, living with cars and being a man, having huevos. You know what I mean? The parts of the car that I did learn more of were already parts that made sense in my head. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like the brake system, right? I didn't, before I worked here, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know there was like, I mean, I understood how brakes worked on a car from looking at a bicycle and dealing with bicycle brakes and, I know a brake is with a on a car it has a rotor and it's a disc braking system. You know what I mean? But I didn't know the names basically between a caliper and a rotor and pads. You know what I mean? That's something I learned from this job, but that's how limited my car knowledge was at the same time. So I don't know how much they really expect me to learn from being there. You know, like, I know the difference between a pinion seal and a head gasket. You know what I mean? But somebody came in today. He was asking me for an intake manifold. What was it? It was a intake something bolt. Intake something bolt. Right? And I knew in my head, I'm like, we're not gonna have it because it's a bolt. We have very few and far between, like very select bolts and nuts type of shit. You know what I mean? We do have like a brake hardware kit. We have nuts and bolts type of shit in that. Like, or if you need a caliper bolt, for some reason we've got that. But the intake manifold bolt, I already knew in my head we weren't gonna have it. But to for the customer's sake, you know what I mean? I went ahead and I looked it up anyway. I type it in the computer and I'm like, fucking intake manifold bolt, I try to find it as best as I can with the computer search engine, and we weren't able to pull it up because I knew we didn't have it anyway. And that's pretty much what one of the senior guys, one guy he's been working there for 20 years. He's like, you know, you get to a point, you know what the store has, and you know what the store doesn't have. You know what I mean? And that was one of the parts when the guy came in today. I'm like, we're not going to have it. I'm going to look it up just to like amuse the customer. You know what I mean? Because I'm here as an employee. You know, let me do the data entry of what he's trying to say, put it in the computer. But I'm like, I already knew in my head we weren't going to have it. It was a waste of time for me to even look it up in the computer. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. People come in and I don't know. It's weird how we don't just have bolts like that. You know, like we should have bolts of all different size and different lengths and yeah, I don't know to some extent. You know what I mean? Not that we're Ace Hardware. How you doing, Jonathan? Yo, swap. Just stopping in to say hi. What's up? Yeah, chilling, man. Fucking drinking a couple beers. I'm gonna have to turn off the camera. Well, not right now, but you know, I'm gonna turn off the so that way they don't see me. You know what I mean? I don't know. Trying to keep it family friendly, other than the cussing. You know, I don't know. Whatever. You know, YouTube is really big on it's not like Disney runs YouTube, but you kind of gotta work along those lines. I mean, for some reason, Asmon made it through. You know what I mean? But we can't all make it through. But I try to just be a real person. You know what I mean? I don't know. People that follow me, they ultimately you're into you want to see a homeless person be more than just a homeless person. You know what I mean? And that's what that's who I'm really trying to find. You know what I mean? If I could find even just 1,000 people that want to see a homeless person be more than just a homeless person, give me time. I mean, because I'm not like I said, if a studio apartment's $1,000 a month, there ought to be some option to buy, right? Like, well, why can't I buy a studio apartment that's $1,000 a month on a mortgage to buy a 200 square foot fucking something? You know what I mean? How you doing, Cole? First time I'm reading your name. Sorry. You might have been subscribed for a while, but that's the first time I'm seeing your name. You might have maybe said one other thing. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not during the winter. During the winter, it's the best state. Like people, there's a lot of people literally snowbird and come down to Florida for the winter. During the summer, yeah, I can agree. I'm thinking of what I want to do. If I in the job I've got is bullshit anyway. You know what I mean? Granted, it's something I could bullshit for the next 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've got a buddy that lives in Colorado, which I know the summer would be way better. Cala, pretty much. Like I don't Uber drive in Ocala because I don't like the traffic already. It's like Orlando basically already. The way it's got like, whoo, before COVID and now, right? The traffic has like tripled. Oh my god, it is. And like the people that just moved here, they don't even see it. You know what I mean? They don't see how much. You know what I mean? And when you look around, you see how many vacant lots there are still. The county is still only half full. You know what I mean? The traffic problem is easily gonna double. You know what I mean? It's like if they build houses everywhere that they're planning on building houses, which they're selling them at so low a price that people are going to come here from other states and you know what I mean. But then they're going to come here. Oh yeah, $350,000 brand new house. Yeah, ooh, But then they're going to come here. They're going to join the job market here, and they're going to see that they like, oh well, fuck. I can't. There's no work here. Well, not that there's no work here, but it's just there's you know what I mean. There's a limit there. You know what I mean. You can't double the population on the state before you have the jobs in place. You know what I mean? Right, and that's like Ocala. Ocala's like Orlando 2.0, man. Like it really is. But there's nothing even fucking here though. You know what I mean? Like it makes no sense. Like all it is just cheap housing. You know what I mean? And you can live everywhere in Florida. I don't know, man. The only thing Ocala has really is a mall, and the mall it has is bullshit. It's like But I don't know. Like it's like I don't know. A lot of people from Tampa or a lot of people from Miami kind of came up here, and at the same time, people from New York and New Jersey, all the new whatever, you know, Michigan, fucking, you know what I mean. So many people are coming down to Florida and just blowing the place up. You know what I mean. Tampa, it's I wouldn't say it's good or bad in Tampa. Tampa's really fast paced, but you're from Orlando anyway. You know what I mean? I would try like Sefner. Sefner would be cheap. If you're thinking Tampa, Sefner is right outside of Tampa and it's really really cheap. You know what I mean? Um, Granted, it kind of shows, but they might have cleaned it up from last time I've been there and now. You know what I mean? I haven't been down to Tampa in years. I grew up just outside of Tampa. You know what I mean? So I know a little bit about it, but there's nothing that really draws me to Tampa. You know what I mean? I want to live somewhere where my closest neighbor is about a football field away. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to live somewhere where there's no neighbors, but I want my neighbor to be far enough away that I don't have to worry about the sound of my music. You know what I mean? Not that I really play music that loud, but you get the feeling. Like I'd like to be on a street that has at least one other person on it. You know what I mean? But definitely a paved road. Because I mean, if they're gonna expect me to pay property taxes, I want to live on a paved fucking road. You know what I mean? Like flat out, dude. The crops in Ocala, it's. Are you talking about like this kind of crops, like store bought crops, or you talking like because they don't have like any orange trees or nothing like that, man. Like if you've been in Florida, if you're in your 30s and you've been in Florida for a while, man, you remember Florida used to be orange. Everywhere there's houses used to be oranges. I don't know what they did with that. Where the orange is at. You know what I mean? I guess they're all growing like hydroponically or some shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I read crops. I'm sorry. I read crops. I was thinking, it's like, how are the crops in Florida? Yeah, how are the crops out there, man? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, they're all right, man. They're still 24% like they're everywhere else. The police, they're not bad. I mean, the police in Tampa, man, they used to be like there'd be more police than flies. You know what I mean? Like yeah, at least at certain times of day, depending on what neighborhood you're in, there's like more cops than flies. But here in Ocala, here there's you gotta wait. You call the cops and you gotta wait an hour for them to get there. You know what I mean? Like you might see them every now and then. They're posted up on like a street that they're always posted up on. Like they're gonna be there, and they're there just sitting there with their radar gun, just like fishing. You know. Oh no, I can't give you my first name yet. I don't know, man. It's just a lot of scammers out there. Yeah, there's a lot of scammers out there, man. I don't know. I don't have like I'm living in the car. I'm living in my car. Somebody could literally just show up and just like break my window and do whatever they want. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. I don't know. I've already pretty much said too much. Yeah, man. Like there's cops. They still are out there. They're doing their thing. But I was thinking about it this way. Like, if you went to school to be a police officer, right? And then like half the police stations in Florida are hiring, but then they're all hiring for roughly the same pay because it's still in the same state. You know what I mean? Are you gonna work in Jacksonville where you're gonna be like dealing with whatever, or are you gonna work in like Micanopy where you're gonna be bored? Like you're gonna get free money to be a cop in Micanopy. You know what I mean? Versus being a cop in like fucking Miami. You know what I mean? And that's the same way I'm thinking where I'm at too. Like, you know, if like where I'm at, right, or like y'all are all paying $15 an hour, right? Y'all are all paying 15 an hour. Okay, well then who's got the easiest work? You know what I mean? Who wants the least out of me for that $15 an hour then? It's the same thing. Honestly, it's the same thing a cop or a firefighter would do. You like unless you really do like saving lives as a firefighter kind of thing, you're gonna work in a quieter fire station. You're gonna get free money at some point. You're gonna get free money to work in a quieter fire station. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's really the same thing that they would fucking do, and I've seen them do it. You know what I mean? Like I've seen them work somewhere until they get like 5 years experience, and then they'd move over to another station where nothing fucking happens. And then it just basically just hang out in the station for their 24-hour shift or whatever, however they do it. You know what I mean? It's like, but I don't know. That's where I'm at. Like I'm an unskilled worker, and everybody keeps trying to talk me into maybe being a CDL driver, and I don't really want to be. I don't want to do that. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be a truck driver. If I wanted to be a truck driver, like I'm already fucking midway through my 30s, I would have already kind of like went to school to be a truck driver. You know what I mean? No offense on anybody that is a truck driver. It's not for me. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna waste the time going to school for anything, it's gonna be something I actually wanted to do afterward. You know? Especially here in America where we're supposed to be free to be whoever we want to be. We just have to do something in the meantime. And it's crazy, like, how much of a shortage there is for cooks, like, everywhere in America. I'm not saying that I want to cook either, but you know what I'm saying? If I did want to go back to cooking, I could find work like that in any city. You know what I mean? At least I can at least talk my way into the dish pit. You know what I mean? And then from the dish pit, show them that I have more of a brain than just washing dishes. But you know what I mean. I don't really want to go to a kitchen anyway because the fucking labor, like it's, you know what I mean. They've all the time got this, like I'm a minimum wage employee. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to hide it. You know what I mean. They've all the time are trying to get as much as they possibly can out of me for paying me the floor price, like the absolute minimum you can pay somebody, and they try to get as much as they possibly can out of you. I'm like, why? Like even tonight, the person I was closing with, like, I'm like, dude, why are you trying to get extra from me? I'm like, fuck, I'm only making 15 an hour. Like, I don't know. Granted, it's a lot better than 5.25 an hour, but it's like the same world anyway. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter. It just looks better. It looks better with the amount of paper we're throwing around. Got swamp. I tried doing that in Tampa for a while. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run for sheriff. I was like, fuck y'all. I was like, I'm running from sheriff for sheriff. Something like that. I can't remember what I was saying. I'm running from the sheriff to be the sheriff. But sometimes, like that Warner Brothers, the little pug, right? The little poor me, yeah, the pug, little pug. But somehow he was a police officer. At least there's a couple skits where he had a little police officer hat on. It's like, yeah, I'm the cop, yeah. No, I don't like dabs. For me, like, okay, the way I see dabs, and that's okay if you do, right? It's just, I don't know. To me, it's like you took weed, right? Like you took like actual weed, and then you compressed it. Like I get the science behind it. Like you took weed. It's the same thing, the same process they do with cocaine, and they take cocaine and they compress it into crack, right? That's literally what you're doing with your weed. You're taking your flower and then you're turning it into like You know what I mean? You're basically cracking out your weed. You know what I mean? And to me, I would rather just smoke the flower. You know, I would just like, I'll do a dab. I'm not gonna, if somebody lit a dab up for me or whatever, they wanted me to hit it. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna not hit it. But it's like it's the same chemical process of like trying to like, condensate. The condensation of it all. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, it's like it's the same process they do to turn cocaine into crack. You're doing that to your grass. And I get it's a better hit. If you just get off of work or you're getting home for the day, you want to fucking crack, fucking take a big old fucking hit on a dab. That's for you. That's fine. That's legal. You know what I mean? I can't get mad at you for it. I'm wanting them to make like a candle, right? Like take all that wax, right? And then you could make a wick out of THC too, right? Like a THC or a hemp rope, right? But a hemp wick, right? And then all that wax into a candle. And then you could just come home and light the candle and then just the aroma coming off of the candle. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. For some reason, you can't even go to the shops and get candles yet. You know what I mean? I ain't seen them. Granted, it's been a couple years since I went, but I ain't seen them. I ain't got no like a fucking. You just literally just light a candle, and it's fucking live rosin or whatever. You know what I mean? With a hemp wick. But yeah, they can make peanut butter and fucking chocolate and fucking all kinds of flavored gummies and you know what I mean. But just imagine like a candle, and then there's somebody that doesn't like to smoke. You'd be like, all right, we'll just hang out here. I'll light the candle. Just hang out with us for yeah, just hang out. Or they don't know how to inhale or whatever. When I finish the cigarette, I'm gonna turn off the camera for hopefully less than 60 seconds or so. I'm gonna drink another beer real quick, but it's not gonna be on camera, so that way we keep everything rated PG-13. Because I mean, YouTube doesn't like R-rated stuff. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be like an alcoholic or nothing. You know what I mean? But I might start drinking every Saturday show just to kind of pop everything up a little bit. But yeah, man, I'm trying, man. I got looked at the schedule. Basically, I'm off tomorrow, so I might just be live until I hit like 450 subscribers. I don't know. I don't know how long that'll take, and if my phone will probably cut out before then. But yeah, man, I'm trying, man. I know the videos they definitely need a little bit, a little bit of more upgrade. I think at this point I need to upgrade, the camera that I'm filming with. I don't know. I just feel like that's the best move. Um, because the way that I film is it's like that's my film style. It's like the guerrilla style. The nature of it. You know what I mean? It's just it's the way I film. I can't really, what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to change that too much. But what I could do is, up the megapixel. You know what I mean? You should do more hiking videos. I could probably do that, man. Because I do plan on doing the Appalachian Trail, and like I don't know. I like if I could build this channel up and get to the point where there's people that I can maybe talk into doing it with me. You know what I mean? And we'll go like a group of 10 or 20 people and go do the Appalachian Trail. Like, granted, not all, maybe we won't all make it. You know what I mean? That's kind of the not that I'm trying to bring a bunch of people that'll quit. You know what I mean? But no, you know what I mean. I'll go further with other people that are, we're all pushing each other to, like, let's go, let's make it to Maine, let's do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a bunch of people, and then when I get to the trail, obviously I'll be, like the way I'm doing the Uber videos. I'll put 2 days of hiking the trail into a video, Me hiking up north on the trail. There's starting to be a lot of bugs in my car right now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't know. I didn't know until you told me about how you got your name. You didn't know anything about the Appalachian Trail? I mean, I can believe it. I mean, I only really heard about it from like two people myself before I started doing research on it myself. Like I had a buddy named Dave. He wanted me to do it back in like 2016. And at the time in 2016, I was like, I was pursuing the job. I thought that'd be the right road, to work hard, and try to show the world that I can be a responsible person, and I can work hard and show up on time. And I don't know. I did that for another 10 years now. It's 2026, and all it is fucking usury. It's just like, so, well, maybe I should have just left and did the fucking because I mean, you're gonna come back and then you're gonna need to work somewhere. You know what I mean? You're like, and then the more and more you need to work, eventually somebody will find a place for you. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna let you. I don't know. I don't know, man. Life's different for everybody. But yeah, I'm almost thinking, man, like, if I can't get the girl, if I can't get the girl to come back, the best thing for me to do would be to continue to just save as much money as possible. Um, and then since I'm really betting, I'm really everything I've got, I'm betting on Bitcoin going to $1 million at least, right? So what I should do is just keep piling as much money as I possibly can onto Bitcoin before that happens. You know what I mean? And then if things don't work out with me and my ex, then I could just leave the country sooner. You know. So for me to stop and pay somebody else 800 or $1,000 a month to live at some property that they own, for me to pay rent to live on, somebody else's fucking turf, basically, or I could just save the money for me to ultimately be able to leave the country for good. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, this country is so fucked up, dude. They basically they use the world's racism to build the middle class, basically. I don't know. I'm not saying that the right way, and it's not coming out the right way. But like, they got a system where we're all just trying to crawl over each other to get to a comfortable spot in the middle, and at the same time, they're like trying to destroy the middle class before we even get there. You know, it's just, I don't know, dude. It doesn't. It's like, so what are we even working for? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not saying it the right way. I'm definitely not saying it the right way. But I literally saw people that weren't even born here today, that they were at work making more money per hour than I was while I was at work. You know, and it's like, I'm not. Granted, I'm not saying that the right way. Granted, it's a skilled thing. But you had, like, people that probably didn't even fucking know English, that are probably making more per hour in the country where I was born in. And it's like, so I'm really ultimately just wasting my time where I'm at. Everybody left. Everybody left. I got too serious there. But yeah, I'm wasting my time where I'm at, working in this fucking retail job. And then I see these foreigners that are probably making, granted Granted, they're not making like lawyer pay, but I mean, shit, they're working outside. They're probably making more money than I am. You know what I mean? And everything nowadays, it's all legal. You know what I mean? It's hard to work under the table anywhere. Yeah. All right, man. Peace out, John. I appreciate you stopping in, man. But yeah, man, I'm trying to push and get these subscribers, man. I don't know. Trying to, if I could at least get to 500 would be nice. You know, I'll need a little bit more than just 500, but I don't know. 1,000 would be cool. You know, I don't know. Just I see other people that I know, or not. Well, I don't know, but I've literally, I don't know. I don't know, man. One dude, man, this dude came into my work, man. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, you didn't even know. He's like, I'm actually really, really big on TikTok. He's like, I've got like 150,000 subscribers on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't know because I don't fucking use TikTok. It's for people with ADHD. You know, I'm just like, I was like, but that's cool though, bro. I'm like, you should tell him to subscribe to my channel. You know, it's just like. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out, man. At least I know the chat's working. Because, man, I was sitting here for fucking like 13 minutes. Finally, Jerry pops in and says hello. That's one, you know, I don't want to be live streaming and like there's nothing on the chat. You know what I mean? There's nothing even for the moment. The moment that I stop and I read what's going on, you know what I mean? I don't know. I want to drink another beer before they get too hot. I'll be honest with you. They're getting hot. I can tell by how hot I am. This phone's a piece of shit. I appreciate you bearing with me and hanging out. Oh, okay. All right. See you later, man. How you doing, man? Yeah, this phone's a piece of shit, man. I'm gonna upgrade it here a couple weeks or so. I get a check on Wednesday, but it's really it's not a check. It's from the retail job. You know what I mean? It's just basically just goes straight to the credit cards. But I might be able to get a new phone with it. I don't know. Starting to get some real bad acid reflux going on now. Fucking reflex. Yeah, man. But yeah, man, I got one buddy who was hitting me up. He's like, "Hey, I might be getting a job over here." He's like, "You know, let me get in a couple, you know, give me a couple of weeks or a couple of months or so." He's like, "I might be able to get you in too." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's cool." You know what I mean? Because like the job I'm at now, I've been there since September, and there's like two dudes in the building that I made kind of friends with. You know what I mean? Not that we hang out, you know, and fucking play Xbox together on their couch, you know what I mean, or whatever, but you know, I got a couple of people I made friends with from working there since September. And one of those dudes, he basically, you know, they both left basically. One guy, they were targeting him basically, and they ended up they just kind of like eventually got to the point they just threw him out. I don't know why exactly, because the other guy was kind of poised to take his position when he left. They moved him to another store too. So I don't know what the fuck their plan was on that. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I think next is me probably anyway. You know what I mean? I try to just be like a weekend guy for him. And I don't know, for some reason the dude he can't understand, you know, like I want more hours, but he thinks more hours means more days. And I'm like, no. See, I'm like, instead of that 5 to 9 that you give me, can I get 1 to 9? can I get 1 to 9, and then like 3 1 to 9s is all I need, and then you have the rest, do whatever you want with. And granted, I know you can't just make your own hours. You know what I mean? So I've been dealing with it. I've been seriously fucking dealing with it. But it's getting to the point, I had to change my whole availability around. And I changed my availability around. He doesn't even put me on the schedule. Now he's pissed at me, right? So now I'm not even on the schedule for Fridays. And now this next week, I'm not even on the schedule for Sunday. So I'm down to 1 day a week, right? And then it's just fucking stupid. Like I said, if the other guy, if he can get me in where he's at, I'll be able to talk to their GM right off rip and let him know, like, hey, look, I just want to be a weekender, but if you can give me 30 hours, if you still want to give me 10 hours on Friday, 10 hours on Saturday, 10 hours on Sunday, I'll take it. The other guy, he can't seem to figure that out, you know, but I don't know. Like I said, this next week I got just a 5 to 9 on Saturday, which is, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it gives me Sunday, I'm open, I can go drive for Uber, go possibility making more money to just drive for Uber, you know. But it sucks because now like half of my time at the actual job is gone. So I don't know, man. But like I said, I don't. It's like the guy, he doesn't fucking care. He doesn't care to like actually fucking want to try to work with me on the shit either. That's why I need to just fucking move on down the road to something else. I already know. Because I feel like I could go just about anywhere and tell them, like, look, I only want weekend hours. Whatever you can give me on Friday, whatever you can give me on Saturday, whatever you can give me on Sunday. But I more or less, I've got 2 other jobs I work besides here anyway. So but there's complete open availability Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. It's fucking. I'm a little drunk. I'm sorry. Wait for someone to chime in the chat. It's been a minute since whatever. Leave and get the fuck out of here, then. Leave. Not you, man. You're cool. But anyway, man. I don't know. It'd be nice, man, because like I could use a change. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. The store. It's gonna be bullshit now that basically, like I said, the 2 guys I basically made friends with, they're gone. So now I'm just there, and I'm just like, it's just fucking usury. You know, might as well go work somewhere else or have the opportunity to make new friends somewhere or something. You know what I mean? Like, and then I come in tonight, man, and like fucking, I go to do the backstock. It doesn't look like anybody fucking does the backstock. Like, fucking, I log in and there was such a fucking huge list of backstock shit to do. I was like, oh my god, like I know nobody did it the night before. I can tell that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just they'll still put shit off on me because they'll know that I'm coming in over the weekend, so they'll know like oh yeah, leave the bathroom dirty so that way when Tyler gets here he can clean it. I'm like, oh my god, bro, shit like that, man. The push shit off mentality that we all have. The pass the blame game. Damn, there's a fuckload of bugs in the car. Even like since Adam and Eve and shit, man. Like fucking Eve take a bite off the apple, right? And then she tells Adam, "Oh, you should eat too." And then so he eats too. And then God comes back and then asks Adam, like, "Why did y'all eat?" You know, and he's like, "The woman." It's like, well, she ate. She ate. She told me to eat too. Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Like, I don't know if it gives me like you're supposed to like 4,000 hours of viewed time. Like, you know what I mean? Not only do you need 1,000 people to subscribe, but you need to hit 4,000 hours of like people actually watching. And I don't think it counts myself. You know, like so like me watching, you know, like as I'm doing like I've basically been watching myself for an hour while I've been live, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't think it counts me watching myself. You know what I mean? I don't. It's just me broadcasting. But whatever. I want to ultimately. I want to take the live. I want to, you know, if I can, like take the live. I want to go this way with it. You know, I want to turn. I want to turn the live this way. But you know, when it's this way, you get more of a chance of people scrolling through and people finding you for the first time. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's stupid. But I don't know. I feel like I could turn this into something. I don't know. I hope at least. You know, there's people with a shittier backstory than me. But yeah, people with a shittier backstory than me. You know, they have like 100,000 fucking subscribers and shit. You know what I mean? Look, I've been homeless 3 times now. You know, and it's never actually been like basic. It's never been because of drugs. You know what I mean? It's always been some fucking bullshit. This last time was the biggest fucking steaming pile of bullshit I've ever fucking been in. Fucking helping somebody build a house for the last 9, 10 fucking years for them to all of a sudden decide like, oh, this isn't your house. This is my house. So I can just, and then just throw you the fuck out. And it's like, what the fuck ever. And that's where I'm at now, where I'm like, well, I don't even want to, like, why fuck around with any of that shit again? Like, do I need to stop and buy a house? Because ultimately, my goal is to retire. My goal is to retire faster. So I don't know, understand like people get like entwined like you need to have the house and then pay the mortgage off before you can retire, right? And it makes sense. But like, do you need the place to live? Do you need to buy a place to live off of the government at the government's price? You know what I mean? Because like, there's so many other things, right? I was thinking about this earlier. Like, there's so many other things you can get on the black market for cheaper, right? You can get laundry detergent on the black market for cheaper. You can get gold on the black market for cheaper. You can get drugs on the black market for cheaper than going to the store. You know what I mean? There's so many things you can get on the black market for cheaper, but not a house. You try to buy a house, it has to be all like as legal as we could possibly make it. There's no black market option to get a house. You know what I mean? There's no like, oh, this is a $25,000 3-bedroom house. You know what I mean? If there is, and it's some kind of like foreclosure bullshit, or this, that, and the other bank refinance, I don't know. But at the same time, I guarantee it's gonna cost way more than that. You know what I mean? You're not gonna walk out of there unless it's some fucking pile of shit in some fucking neighborhood nobody wants to fucking be in anyway. So they've got to sell the house for $5,000 because nobody wants to fucking live there anyway. Fucking house where the electric needs to be redone. The plumbing doesn't even fucking work. Oh, man. And it's like, what am I buying that for? What am I? So I'm supposed to spend $200,000, probably minimum, right? $200,000 for a place to live, and then I'm alive everywhere I go anyway. So why do I need it? Why am I paying for a place to live? I'm alive right now. I'm not paying for a place to live. Like fuck it would, like I'm broke as fuck right now. It would cost me another $20 a day minimum. I'd be negative $20 every single day just to pay for a place to live. Minimum that's like say I found a place for $600 a month, right? Which would still be absurd to me. Because the thing that you would get for $600 a month would not be fucking worth $600 a month. You know what I mean? So I'd be in the hole every single day I wake up, $20, basically. You know what I mean? Versus living in the car. Like my insurance is what, $100 a month, which I'd have to pay that either way. You know what I mean? And then for $100 a month in car insurance, that's my rent. Which I don't know. Which is still absurd compared to other countries too. Hell, there's a bunch of other countries. I don't even think it's required that you need car. You don't need car insurance, I bet. Look at how many fucking scooters there are running around. You think all these scooters are fucking insured? No. I don't know. Damn. Fucking bugs, man. I swear. I appreciate you chilling with me. Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm waiting for somebody to chime in the chat. I might chug another beer and help my thought process a little bit. You know what I mean? That's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm not gonna just chug the beer on live stream. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna pop out of the car or something. But I think it's better to pop out of the car. Sorry. I think it's better to pop out of the car than to like turn the camera off for like the 60 seconds or the 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Anyway, I want to chug. Should I? Well, it's been an hour. Yeah, let's chug one. Keep the party going. You know what I mean? You can't tell what's in my hand at all. You didn't even see that, right? No. Yeah, so you can't tell. Like I said, just give me like 30 seconds. I'm gonna drink this real, as quick as I can before it gets hot. You know what I mean? It's already been not in the fridge for like 2 hours now. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out, man. I'm chugging a beer real quick. Hang on, just chill for a minute. Hang on. It's like, cause I can tell you I'm drinking a beer, right? But like actually doing one, like actually drinking a beer on film, it's a different thing. I don't know. Sorry, I'm still finishing up the beer now. Hang on, man. Went ahead, hit a little bathroom break, and then took off my shorts. Had my work shorts on still. But yeah, it's pretty strong beer. Hang on now. Hang on. All right. Then all right. I should be good. I didn't even drink the whole beer. That was close. If I would actually swallow that, I probably would have puked. Yeah. I got a very, very low tolerance for alcohol. Like I drank 2 beers, right? I drank 2 beers and I went live, right? And then I've been live for over an hour, so I figured I'd go ahead and drink, and I get like halfway through that beer and I feel like I'm gonna puke. So I only drank the half. I didn't try to chug the other half. Sorry, I know it's too much. All right, I'll stop there. Anyway, vomit free. I'll smoke a cigar. Kind of change directions a little bit there. Yes! Love you, Jer Bear. But yeah, man, this job I got is fucking bullshit at the same time. Like part of me, that's where I'm saying, like, man, I could easily just bullshit this job for the next 20, 30 years too. I could bullshit them right back. You know what I mean? Like, cause honestly, I could live on 1 day a week. If they want to be bitches and only give me 1 day a week, I could still find a way to just live on the 1 day a fucking week. You know what I mean? I've been able to save money. Well, granted, because of Uber, you know what I mean? But I've been able to save money with them only working me 2 days a week, which is crazy. But yeah, I looked at this next week's schedule. Looked at this next week's schedule, and then the dude only has me on the schedule for Saturday. Granted, I know it's Easter. You know, tomorrow's Easter and shit. You know, and like I know, you know, there's like the store closes early because of Easter or some shit. You know what I mean? But it still doesn't make any sense that I lost the whole day. But granted, I don't know. Maybe he just thought, you know, rather than just having me come in from 3 to 6 or whatever, I don't know. He thought it'd be more worth the time to somebody else. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna let it slide. But if he continues to only give me like 1 day a week on the schedule, I don't know. I don't know if that job's even worth holding on to. Because I can head out to Colorado. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's where I was thinking too. Like, you know, because like it's not really hurting me. I could just go and drive on Sunday instead. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make more money to go drive on Sunday night instead of be there. But it was like, man, I'm like, I don't know, still like losing hours at the side gig. You know what I mean? Because I rely on that job for like the stability. You know, like I can, you know, granted I get a biweekly check, but still biweekly check. You know, I'm collecting my 200. You know, I'm going around the Monopoly board and collecting my 200. You know what I mean, from off of that job, and then I go and Uber on top of that. You know, if I can make 500, which I can, you know what I mean, I can make 500 a week on Uber, which is more than what the job pays me if I were to give them my whole week anyway. So I can make 500 a week on Uber plus a little bit from the job. You know, that's the way I see it. Which as long as the car keeps running, I'm good. I can, you know, that's still a thing. Sorry, I'm drinking. And you know, where I'm at, like I could just buy another used car when this one takes a shit. You know, I've got enough money saved up that as long as I Ubered real hard, you know what I mean, I could buy a $3,000 car and then Uber real hard out of it for 6 months and get the 3,000 back. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say 6 months if it takes a while. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can easily make 1,000 a month off of Uber. That's doing it slow. You know, just out of boredom from living in the car in the first place. But now I'm thinking like with all the land, man, like they just want to throw us all kinds of restrictions on the shit. This, that, the other. So I'm thinking like, well, then why even buy the land? It's ultimately it's probably a better investment in Bitcoin. You know, I know some people, a lot of y'all fight me on this, but you know, like a lot of analysts predict Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million before 2033. Like that'll be the long picture. Well, it'll take till 2033, right? And then Bitcoin will be $1 million a coin. I don't think there's any land I can buy that's gonna inflate at that rate. You know what I mean? So ultimately, it'd be, I don't know. The more I can rough it in the car, the better. You know what I mean? If they want to be dicks about the land, and it's like, I ran into a buddy and he was telling me, he's like, but hey, wait, because he was told, I was thinking about buying land out here because you can get land for like 12 to 15,000, and he's like, well, hey, he's like, you might want to look into it a little bit more because you can get a whole acre for like 25 or 30 in the same area. And I'm like, I'm thinking about the resale wise, investment wise, and just for my own self, like it would be so much more beneficial to just have a whole acre, if it's going to cost double or maybe triple the price of a quarter acre to get a whole acre, why wouldn't I pay triple, I don't know. Granted, I'm that much further away from it, you know what I mean? Like, granted, like the $12,000 mark, I was almost there. You know what I mean? Like, fucking by the end of the year, I could, you know what I mean? I could walk onto a property that's mine in 12 to 15,000. But at 30,000, I'm gonna have to wait for Bitcoin to, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to wait for Bitcoin to turn around on me. But I feel like even if it goes back to where it was previously, buying it under 70K now is a deal. Almost want to pull out, because I could pull out a loan against the Bitcoin stack that I have, pay off my credit cards, and then have a lower interest rate on the loan than my credit cards are. I was thinking about that one today. I'm like, man, I could pull out a loan on the amount of stack that I have saved up in Bitcoin, even just half of it, collateralize half of my Bitcoin stack, pay off my credit cards, and then have a lower interest rate while I pay that off to get my Bitcoin back. But yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know, owner carry contract. No, they've got this stupid shit where if I buy the land, right? If I don't pay it all out, flat out in cash, if I don't buy the land, if it's $12,000, like it's priced on Zillow for 12,000, and I talk to the right person and I offer them 12,000 cash, boom, it's mine, right? But if I have to get a bank involved at all, say I only have 50% of the money down, and I got to get the other half financed, the bank is going to want me to build on it in 12 months or less, right? And more or less what I'm trying to do is buy the land and then not even build on it. You know what I mean? If I could buy the land, hold it for 5 years by paying the taxes on it or whatever, and then sell it for the same amount that I bought it for, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Because I don't know that I'm even going to want to stay there, live there. You know what I mean? I just need a place to park my car that's far enough away from the crackheads. You know what I mean? Granted, this spot that I'm at's not a bad spot. You know what I mean? But I would rather, I'd rather invest into land at the same time. You know what I mean? It just feels like a solid goal. And, take your Bitcoin and then use it as collateral to invest in land. And then at the same time, I've invested in both. I invested in land and kept my Bitcoin to see whatever that turns into. You know what I mean? And then the land's not going to lose value. It's only going to, I think it's only going to retain the same value. You know what I mean? So I could pay $15,000 for the land, park on it for 5 years, and then me parking on it isn't going to destroy the land to where I can't get the same 15,000 back out of it. And then granted, market's going to go up, hopefully, you know what I mean? But if I'm selling it for 15,000, it'll be one of the cheaper properties that'll sell faster, because it's not going to sell as easily as Bitcoin, where I can just sell it whatever the market price is. It's land. It's gonna take a while to find the right person that wants to buy it. But if it's underpriced because I got it priced at where I bought it at 5 years ago, it'll sell quicker. You know what I mean? That's my theory, at least. And in the meantime, it gives me a place that I can actually be. Owners, okay, owners sell land parcels. Yeah, and that's the other thing I was thinking about. If I buy a whole acre, I could still subdivide it and sell. Keep 3/4 of the acre for myself and sell the other acre, or sell the other quarter acre. Do the same 5 year plan. Buy an acre, 5 year plan. Boom, that plays all out. And then subdivide it, sell a quarter acre of it, and then boom, that quarter acre that I could sell would buy the whole acre that I've been living on at that point. You know what I mean? And then I've been living there for the last 5 years for free. When I get to that point, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to buy a whole house because I'm buying into more than I even need. I feel like to buy a whole fucking house. If it's just me, if it's just me, and like I don't really need a roof over my head. Like fucking, you have a roof over your head, but the fucking hurricane rips it off anyway. Fucking, why does it? What the fuck? Like a roof is nice, but it's not for me at least. I don't know if it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like I can just get rained on. It's not gonna bother me, especially if they're only working me one day a fucking week anyway. And I know at the same time, don't count on Social Security because I'm only working one. Like fucking, what? And Social Security is basically just gonna steal from me my whole life. You know what I mean? But I get the whole system of it all. It's me paying Social Security is so that others can have Social Security. It's like I get it. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna rely on Social Security to tell me like, oh, you gotta work till you're 68. You know what I mean? If I have enough income where I figure. If I got enough, I'm gonna say, well, that's enough. I'm going. You know, and especially if I can pull it off, I can live in the Philippines, right? And it'd be half the rent literally just renting a place to live will be half of what it costs here in the U.S. And so the other half I could eat with very well. And in the Philippines, it's a beautiful place. You know what I mean? Like there's not a big fucking upside down race war going on where we're all trying. Like in the Philippines, I don't think they're all trying to crawl over each other to get to the fucking middle class. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go drink the other half of my beer. But yeah, it's like that whole. I don't know, man. I had I had a beer I was drinking. I don't want to drink it on the live stream because if I keep the live stream PG. Sorry, I got a beer I was drinking, So I got out of the car to drink the other half of it because I thought I was going to puke. If I would have drank the whole beer, I would have probably puked. So I only drank like half. I went back and drank like another half of that half, basically, and then poured the rest out for my dead homies. But pretty much like I don't even know if you're still watching. All right, well, there's at least one person watching still. I'm gonna tell you this. I had an uncle. My uncle told me, like when I was like 11, 12 years old. He said, before you're 21, either you or one of your 5 closest friends from high school will die. And he says, I don't know why, but it's just part of like being an American and growing up here in America. He says before you're 21, either you or one of your 5 closest friends from high school will die. And like I when he was telling me that, I thought it was gonna be me. You know what I mean? I've lost two of my, my closest friends, people I thought I'd be able to like look to for a job later on in the, people that they were gonna know me that well that, you know what I mean? I could call them up and be like, yo, I need some work. Can you talk to your boss and see if you can give me even one day a week? That's all I need. You know, that's what I've lost 2 people like that already in my life. I don't know. I think another one's coming. I hope not, but it's just like this circle of life kind of thing. Like either you or one of you're like your right hand men, people that you would go to if you needed to borrow $100 cash. You have these 5 closest friends you could go to. If they have it, they might, they could spot you $100 cash and then only want $100 back. You know what I mean? Oh shit! I gotta plug my phone in. Sorry. 5%. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! There we go. But yeah, man. I had one buddy, man. He was working interstate construction, like doing overnight interstate construction. He was working 72-hour weeks, man. 12-hour days a week. He was working, trying to like. He's working. His fiance was pregnant. I think they just had the baby. Like he's got like a 3-month-old baby, and he gets hit by a drunk driver while working doing interstate construction to make enough money where she could go to school and the kid would do all right, and he was in a position where hopefully he could move up and become like a supervisor. You know what I mean? He was only 19, and then he gets hit by a drunk driver, and the other buddy, he was a CDL driver, and he just I don't know if he like fell asleep or something. I don't know. It was 5 a.m., 5:30, something like that, somewhere between 5 and 5:30 in the morning. His phone was still in his pocket, so it wasn't like he pulled his phone out and was texting or something. His phone was deep, unless he did all that while in the middle of crashing. And he put his phone all the way back down deep into his pocket. You know what I mean? Like there was no chance he was on his phone. They figured he must have nodded out, being that it was 5 a.m. before sunrise and everything. But I lost 2 different friends, basically because of cars. Basically, I feel if we would have, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, man. It's systematic thing in a way. You know what I mean? Like even if you don't believe in God, you still fall. Time is still your God. Whether you want to believe in whatever or not. You still have to follow time. But then again, all of our time revolves around the star that we revolve around, you know? So it's it's just like, I don't know. I got a whole nother beer I can drink. Oh my god, there's a fucking huge bug! Holy fuck. Like a fucking alien warship just flew into my car. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, dude. There's like 20 bugs in my car right now from this light being on. I'm sorry. It's like it's my apartment too. I wouldn't really worry too much if this wasn't like my house. Even today, man, there was this lady that like these two ladies come out of this van. It was like an old retired Amazon van. You could tell because it still said Amazon on it in like three different places. But anyway, these two different ladies in like it looked like they were like van lifers too, kind of you know what I mean. Um, Not that I'm a van lifer, but I'm striving for it still. You know what I mean. Anyway, these two ladies, man, and like they were walking from one store to the other where I'm parked and everything, and they decide to split. And the one lady decides to walk one way around my car, and the other lady decides to walk the other way around my car. I didn't understand it at all. Like really, the one lady, the way she walked, it made sense. But the other lady, the way that she walked, it was like she was trying to walk as close to my fucking car as she possibly could. You know, and I'm like, what? I'm like, this is my house. Like, do you need to walk within fucking 3 feet of my house? Like, I didn't say nothing to her, but you know what I mean. I'm like, you're like fucking like, why did you do that? It made no fucking sense. Because she could have just walked to the left of my car with her friend, but instead they decided to split, and she wanted to walk this way around my car. I'm like, it just didn't even fucking make any sense to me. I appreciate you hanging out, man. I'm trying to get some more likes, but it's just not happening. But yeah, I'm just a real dude, man. I can't expect for too much. Like a couple of people will pop in here and they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's Jack Black." So I was kind of trying to play off that for a little while, you know what I mean? But man, I'm short on energy this week. I'll be honest with you. I'm really short on energy this week. Fucking at first it was my oil change. I need to get the oil change in the car. Um, I got one guy. He'll do it, man. Fucking couldn't get a hold of him. I can do it myself, but I just don't have a jack. I don't have a like. Well, I got a jack, but it's like a scissor jack. You know. I'm sorry. Sorry. 0 viewers. Come on, man. This was a pre-planned live stream and shit. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. It's the signal. It's probably the signal where I'm at. Get this fucking bullshit ass fucking phone. not for children. Woo! How y'all doing, man? Chilling, chilling. Woo! That was a big hit. Woo! What do we got? Oh, the bottle. What's up, man? How you doing? Sorry, this ain't a stream. This ain't a kid's stream. I'm sorry, bottle. We can. Woo! I got one more beer. We're chilling. It's been a good Saturday so far, man. Fucking almost 2 hours live now. Hell yeah. Chilling, chilling, chilling. Usually it takes about that long until I get the likes anyway. But yeah, I think the most likes I think I've got was like 13. So I don't know, man. It's still a small channel. You know what I mean? Trying to do what I can. I don't want to like vlog. I wanted to go. I'll be honest with you, man. I wanted to go live like 5 or 6 different times throughout. Between Wednesday and now. I wanted to go live so much, but I was like, I'm gonna wait, save my energy until Saturday. You know what I mean? Be there. I was planning on drinking and everything too. I thought, I don't know. I thought I might have like 4 or 5 viewers. A little more steady. I don't know. But this is me drunk. This is me lately, at least halfway drunk. You know what I mean? Like these aren't regular beers. They're like the beers you would get in Germany. You know what I mean? They're 8% stout instead of 5%. And then it's not a 12-ounce beer that I'm drinking. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And then I don't really drink. So, the fact that I drank 3 of them already, you know what I mean? I'm chilling. Wishing these bugs would go somewhere else other than like the roof of my fucking car, though. It'd be nice. Like you can't fucking seem to understand. Like I don't know. It baffles me. Like they're just crawling around on the roof of my car. Just crawling around. They're not smart enough to like this window's wide open, right? And then so is this window. And then so all these windows are wide open, but they're just crawling around on the roof of my car, trying to find a way out or something. I don't know. Fucking, I can only imagine what it'd be like to be a bug. Like I was looking at a caterpillar. I've been looking at caterpillars really, really like up close recently. Not with a microscope or nothing, but there's caterpillars. There's like an infestation going on in this town or something. You know what I mean? They're just like raining out of the trees. Anytime I park underneath a tree for shade, there's caterpillars fucking falling on my car. But anyway, I've been looking at these caterpillars and I can see there's not legs, right? Like you think the caterpillars have legs, right? No, they actually have 6 arms and 8 legs. Believe it or not, like they have they if you look at them close enough, you can see that there's arms. Their arms look different from their legs. Their legs, you know what I mean. But the majority of caterpillars have 6 arms and 8 legs. You just look at one close enough, you'll understand what I'm saying. I don't know why, but yeah. Hey, Jared Bear, I'm still drunk. Yeah, I'm still drunk. I got another beer, so we're chilling. Yeah, I'm waiting until the live stream tells me I got 2 hours. It's showing me 1 hour 44 minutes right now. I'm not even gonna crack it open yet. It's getting hotter. I know. I don't want it to get too hot. You don't want to fucking drink warm beer. You know what I mean? But these beers, man, they're you used to go and get them at Dollar General, but they're starting to get everywhere now. What the hell is that? Is that ketchup? Is that ketchup? That's probably ketchup. Ew. Fucking ketchup on my seat. Ew. I hope it was. I think it was ketchup at least. Probably ketchup. I ate like 4 double cheeseburgers today before work. Well, I went once at like 11, and I got two double cheeseburgers. I think in a if you spend $15, you get a free cheeseburger. So I got 2 double cheeseburgers and then the free cheeseburger, and then I went back later and got another 2 double cheeseburgers. Just because I didn't want to be there at work. And there's a Domino's and there's a Chinese food place right up the like walking distance from work. So every now and then, me and the other guy will walk over to the Chinese plate or walk over the we end up spending if you go to work hungry, you end up spending fucking money on food. So I went to work, got 2 double cheeseburgers before I went to work. I had 4 double cheeseburgers basically today, but that was before work. And then after work, I've only been drinking the beer. But anyway, went up to the one store because I had to go to the other store, man. I think they're getting rid of these cigarettes that I smoke, man. I'll be honest with you. These cigars I smoke, right? The one store they don't have them anymore. So I had to go up to this other store in the big town, big city, Ocala. I had to go to this other store, and they had them there. It's where I normally go, I went over there, grabbed the 2 packs of cigarettes. I don't have one now. But anyway, but the other store, they stopped selling them. I don't know if it's because they're cherry flavored or something, and maybe like somewhere the government, popped in and was like, "Oh, you don't do good trying to get kids to smoke over here with your cherry flavored cigars. You can't sell them." So I don't know if that's what they're dealing with or what. But they're not any more cherry than like a black and mild cherry. You get a cherry and black and mild, whatever. They're like wild cherry, right? 10 cents for a cigar. So I get 10 cent for a cigar, right? So some places, man, fucking. So I go smoke a cigar on an Uber drive, right? Uber drive, go to Uber drive. It's 14 miles away or some shit, but they want to give me $18. Smoke a cigar on the way, right? Like, and this is fucking $2 gets a whole fucking pack. So it's just try to do what you do. Fucking it sucks, but it's I don't have any Netflix. You know what I mean? I don't have any fucking Hulu subscription. I don't have any. I don't fucking. I don't really have any fucking home TV or nothing. So this is my television. And like I said, it's really good to keep you incognito too at the same time because it's like like I said, if people see a car just parked somewhere, right? They're like, "What is he doing? What is he doing in that car? What's that guy doing in that car just parked over there?" But if people see you in a car parked smoking a cigarette, they're like, "Oh, it's just some guy smoking a cigarette." Okay, they mind their business and they go about their fucking day. But if you're not smoking the cigarette, they wonder what you're doing, right? And think like put yourself in that shoes from the observer, right? You're just driving through, you're on a, right? Like you're on a 2-lane road doing your thing, and there's somebody pulled over. The McDonald's closed at midnight, but there's somebody in the parking lot at 3 a.m. And then you can see close enough that he's just smoking a cigarette. And you're like, okay, that might be a worker that just got off, or worker before they're about to clock in. They open back up at 6. It's like, but if you don't, you just see it's a suspicious car there at the fucking McDonald's parking lot. You know what I mean? And then I'm smoking weed, but they assume I'm smoking crack or this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So it's a good way to like I go stealth mode. So I light the cigar on fucking stealth mode. And then it's cherry flavored too, so it's like fucking like a lollipop or like it's like I said, it's kind of like that black and like the the BLK cherry. You know, I don't know if it's was it zigzag or what is it? Zigzag or Swisher Sweets or BLK cherry. You know what I mean? It's like got that kind of cherry built onto the filter tip, and then you can only get them at Family Dollar for some reason. Dollar General ain't got them. Fucking Dollar Tree ain't got them. Fucking you can only go to a Family Dollar and get them. So I can yes fucking the one Family Dollar, like I said, I don't know if they I think they got rid of them or they're trying to get rid of them, take them off the shelf and that and the other. I don't know, man. How far is the closest house from where I'm at now? It's I want to say it's about a quarter mile to the closest house from where I am now. I'm off of a 2 lane high. Like this is a trail, right? And then I reserved. There's a camp. There's one campsite on this trail. It's a half-hour trail to do the whole trail. There's one campsite on the way far back side of the trail. I got the campsite reserved until May 1st, but I'm just chilling in the parking lot. I'm just car camping in the parking lot. So if the police show up and they want to give me shit, I can pull up my reservation on my phone and show them, you know what I mean. This, that, and the other, I just didn't go all the way out to, I didn't go all the way out to the campsite and pitch my tent. I just decided to just stay in the car. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty much where I'm at, car camping. But it ain't too. I mean, man, fucking like you said, man, you're living in a camper in your neighbors. You're living in a camper in your relatives' driveway, man. You know what I'm saying? Like each month that goes by, it just gets easier. You know what I mean? It'd be nice if I had a little bit more, but right now the only direction I'm really thinking is like getting a bucket, getting a bucket so I can just I could find a bathroom faster, more often. You know what I mean? That's my only problem. And then yeah, if I could stretch my legs out a little bit further when I go to sleep. You know what I mean? Other than that, I wouldn't even need to think about getting a van. But if I get a van, I'll be able to run the I'll have like some sort of a bathroom situation, create like a camp shower situation, be able to carry more water for that. You know what I mean? And then, from there, a van, like I said, might as well be a New York or Manhattan apartment. If you're paying $2,000 a month to rent 60 square feet, you might as well just convert to a van and just look at it as cubic feet. Especially if you have a shared bathroom anyway. Like I don't know, I'm just judging off of a video that I watched, but like damn, dude, you'd have to really love the city of Manhattan to want to fucking pay $3 grand to live there. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's absurd. Even where I'm at for $1,000 a month is absurd to me. Like, and then you can't find housing any cheaper than that. I don't know why. And then if you do find it, like it's a piece of shit, man. Like, why? Why would you even work? Why would you work a 40-hour week to pay to live there? You know, giving them 5 of your 7 days a week, or if you're getting used like I am, you're giving them 6 of your 7 days a week to maybe make 40 hours. Giving them 6 days a week to not even make 30 hours a week, like they were doing to me. And, it's like, well, the fuck, that's not working for me. That ain't doing shit for me. Week to week, month to month, that ain't doing shit for me. To fucking show up for fucking 6 days a fucking week and get 25 hours. You know what I mean? It's just fucking usury. That's where I've gotten to the point now. It's like I've lived with so little for so long that I realize I don't really need much to get through. Like time is gonna tick regardless. You know, it's like my neighbor wanted to move in. I said no. You're used to it. And then yeah, man, like you're beating the shit out of a fucking like a campground anywhere. You're gonna pay $900 a month for fucking plug ups for a trailer for a camper. You know what I mean? 900 a month to be at a campground. What the fuck? And that's where I'm at. Fuck, I might as well just save the money until I can leave the country for good. And then I know when I get to wherever I'm going, I know rent's only gonna be 200 to 300 a month. You know, I was fucking, for 1 month rent here, I could have 3 months of rent in another country. So let me just rough it as long as I can. And like I said, each month it's getting easier, man. He has to be right on everything. I could feel it, man. A lot of people are like that. You just gotta keep your mouth shut and remind them that it's your place first. You know what I mean? I don't know. If you are thinking that way, you're probably not. But yeah, if he's gonna pay half your bills to hang out next to you, to see how long you can deal with it. Like I say, a man with no bills is a rich man. If you could find a way to get to absolute zero a month in bills, you might as well be making 100K a year. You know, it's about the same. Granted, if you're making over 100K a year, you probably basically would have zero a month in bills. So, great. I don't know. I don't know how your taste would change, but 100K a year for myself would be nice, dude. I fucking shit. I'd only complain about having to set an alarm clock at that point. You know what I mean? Like fucking shit. Only because you know that you'd have to get up early enough. You'd have to set an alarm clock to make that kind of fucking money. Yes, I've said it before. Y'all want to pay me $100 an hour? Yeah, I'll fucking I'll do a 40-hour week. Here I am. Let's do it. Even after they tax me, fucking what's that? $66 an hour still? $1 a minute? Let's do it. What are we doing besides killing people? It's fucking $1 a minute. What are we doing? Got to be something going on with that. But yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you chiming in, Jerry. I didn't even think the chat was working until you finally said so. I was live for like 13 minutes. I'm sitting there like, is the chat working? Is it working? Is there anything done? What do I do? But anyway, I don't know, man. Man, yeah, I fucking basically got tomorrow off, so it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Tomorrow's Easter, so I don't think there's gonna be a lot of money. Fire up the car for a little bit. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of money tomorrow because a lot of people are gonna be eating with family. This and that tomorrow. So I'll probably just take it easy tomorrow for the most part. Enjoy the day off. So I did that afternoon shift for a lot of years. Yeah, 2 to 10 is not bad, man. 3 to 11, 2 to 10. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? I know, like 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, it's like, oh fuck, let's get out of here, dude. It's like. Even tonight, I was focused on let's get out, because I knew I wanted to go live at 10. You know what I mean? So it's like the sooner I can get out of here, the more time I can have to like run around before, grab shit. You know, I had to run down the street, get some cigars and shit. I didn't have to, but I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Fucking before I went and got these two, you know, because the other store is out, and like I said, I think they're running. I think they're gonna run them. You know, I don't think they're gonna get any more. But the other store is out, so I pretty much had a cigar in like 3 days. But I knew if I was gonna be going live and drinking at the same time, I was gonna want some cigars. You know what I mean? I got like one more beer left. I don't want it to get too hot, but I'm faded. If I drink this beer, I might end up puking. I need to wait. I need to wait a little bit longer. Excuse me, sorry. But yeah, letting the car run for a little bit. Basically let the temperature gauge get up to about where it needs to be, and then I'll shut it back off. Let the battery charge up a little bit off the alternator. Right now, the alternator is showing me 13.6 volts, so we're doing good. Alternator is still working. Like I said, we're charging. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the phone. The phone's at 9% right now. I was charging the flashlight to make sure there was, enough light. You know what I mean? Because if it was just a dark stream and all you see is my cigar, people ain't gonna watch. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If it's your first time, man, Florida Swamp Monkey. I've been living in the car since September. I'm trying not to be just like a homeless bum. I figured it'd be better to beg for subscribers than to stand on the corner and be begging for money. You know what I mean? I don't know. Not that I'm really trying to beg for subscribers either. You know what I mean? But I ask. You know, a couple of people just left because I even brought that up. You know what I mean? But anyway, if you ever given a homeless person $1, fucking, it's free to subscribe. You know. Like I said, I don't plan on being a homeless fuck forever. I'm trying to do my thing to get up out of this situation. I've been here 3-4 times before in my life, and I'm hoping I make the right moves where this will be the last time. I'll just go ahead and only depend on myself. You know, I don't know, because I've always had the parents they want to give me a place to live, but only for like 60 days or 90 days or some shit. So the only thing I can really do, because you can't afford a place on your own, right? Like, and since you're not gonna like let me live here long enough where I can like go to school for something, so all I can do is like try to find somebody romantically that I can match up with, because it's just fucking stupid, man. Well, like the whole fucking everything from basically being out of high school to now. It's always just been them chasing me out of the house before I've actually been ready. And then, so they want to look at me like, oh, well, you haven't fucking done anything. What are you doing? It's like, yeah, because I spent the last fucking 9-10 years trying to help this girl build a house for herself, apparently, that she can't afford by herself, even though it was like it was the cheapest house we could fucking find and everything, but she can't afford by herself. She threw me out because she was done with me, because she thought she was going to get a promotion at this job she was chasing, and the reason we bought we bought a cheaper house so that way we wouldn't have to work a 40-hour fucking week, like that's the thing, is like people bite off more than they can chew. Like, you don't need a fucking $250,000 or a $400,000 fucking house. You just need a house. You just need a place you go recuperate for the night and then go back out and attack the world again tomorrow. It's like fucking. So, I found a place we could live for under 75,000. Under 100,000 basically. So I figured the two of us would only have to work like a 30 or maybe a 25-hour a week. It's just like, but it's whatever. I shouldn't even be talking about it that much, but whatever. I had an older friend that let me get a feed in a couple times. Yeah, I got an older buddy like that too. He lives out in Oklahoma. But he said even if I were to go out there, I'd still have to pay him like $600 a month as rent, and then after 3 months time, he would shove me out the door. Whether I was paying the 600 a month or not, he'd shove me out the fucking door, and then I would be in a whole other fucking state. Like I thought about it, but I'm like, dude, that doesn't really sound like it's gonna benefit. It's not gonna be a long term benefit to myself. You know what I mean? And then, granted, it would be to him. If I were to pop in, and that's why he said 600 or 650. Because that would pay his mortgage. His mortgage would be covered by me living there, right? You know what I mean? But I can only do it for 90 days. I'd have to find another place to go. You know what I mean? And I get it. We're not the closest of friends either. You know what I mean? And he don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, I could get there and it'd be a complete bum. I'm not trying to be, but at the same time, I don't want to line up and fucking suit up and fucking do a 40-hour week anywhere. I don't care what fucking state I'm in. Maybe if I wasn't even in this country, I might do a 40-hour week somewhere. Not in this country. But yeah, like, this shit we got going on here, I don't really want to be a part of. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even if I was just washing dishes in another country, like, I just, you know what I mean? At least you're benefiting a country that's not the U.S., so that always wants more out of you. I could go to another country and they'd be proud, they'd be happy to have another fucking guy to wash dishes, but here it's not enough. Not saying I want to wash dishes or like, you know what I mean. But if I can find anything that's above washing dishes and cleaning toilets, right? Like anything that's just a slight improvement above that, I don't know, man. Yeah, it looks like a couple of bugs left. I got about 6 bugs in the car instead of 10 now. Philippines swamp monkey live. I'm thinking about it, dude. I've been even on YouTube, man. They're giving me a bunch of videos about the Philippines and shit. This dude, this one, like, he's an expatriate. I don't even want to call myself an expatriate. You know what I mean? That's how fucked up it is. Like, I hate the term expat. Hang on, I gotta go to the bathroom. Hang on. Because I don't think the term expat is the right terminology. You know what I mean? You're not an expatriate. You're not a patriot at all. You left. You left. You're not a patriot. How can you be an expat? How can you be an expatriate? You left. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's the right terminology for it. First off, and then second, like I said, you left. You didn't want to be a part of this party. I don't know, man. But yeah, there's a dude. Anyway, the dude was living for like he's like he aimed for like 1,800 a month, and he's ended up spending like $2,000 a month to live in the Philippines and live a good life. Like, he's living a good enough life. He could probably just be like, let's have 2 women, and he could probably have 2 wives, live, on the 2 grand a month that he's spending, right? And that's about all I could work and make. If I were to work and give him a full time, I could make 500-600 a week. So that's about all I could make. So if I were to take all of that money and save it for myself for later, and then leave this country with it. Boom. You know what I mean? And then you just be living for $2,000 a month in the Philippines with two wives that wash your clothes by hand. You know, it's like, and you're giving them such a good life at the same time. You know what I mean? And they're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Versus these American women that are, like you're never enough. You know what I mean? You go to the Philippines, they want to marry you just because you're an American. It doesn't matter what you have. Just because you're American now, just because you're American by nationality, they'll want to marry you. They'll say, "Get me pregnant." It's like, and then here in our country, like the women are making more money than me, and I'm not that I'm mad about it. Not that I'm upset. You know what I mean? Like that's what they wanted. You know what I mean? And then now they're wondering like, what happened to all the men that make more money? And it's like, wait, you didn't like, okay, so so like, wait, y'all wanted to go to work in the first place, so but now you're wondering why the men don't have more money because you've been bitching about equal pay the whole fucking time, and so we give you equal pay or even the benefit of better jobs or easier jobs or more promotions, whatever. The future is female promotions. Well, then the future is men with less money. So like you wonder where it's going, then the fuck you like look around for like the last 50, 60 years. You know? It's called equality for a reason. I lost a viewer. I lost a viewer saying that. Whatever. You know what I mean? That's how fucking petty people are. They can't even look at the world for the facts that are around them. You know what I mean? Like the reason you can't find a man that makes more money than you is because you wanted to you want to get equal pay. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. And I'm not gonna say it's like the majority, but shit, like everywhere I've worked, there's there's women that are there that are getting paid to not even fucking work. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that any further than that. Already for me saying that, I'm not gonna be able to post this live. I can't post this live as an actual video because I said that. But that's why you show up for the live. The lives are more intimate. But man, dude, it's just so fucking stupid, man. This whole fucking country. And it's like the stupidest fucking people come into my job too. Like, god damn, man. They'll come in, man. They're like, "Can you help me change my windshield wiper?" I'm like, what? Because you don't have a fucking penis? Like, you think I'm gonna be more apt to fucking be able to change the windshield wiper on your car than you are? And granted, like if it was like changing the batteries in a fucking remote, like yeah, I could do it. It wouldn't be a problem. But fuck, dude, like I don't know, man. The way they make some of these windshield wipers, like fucking, it's just so stupid. All you need is the fucking hook. You just put the J hook on it, and then fucking that's all you need. Just click it back into the hook, because with a hook and with it spinning like this, it's only gonna tighten more with it spinning as it spins as it rotates this way. It's only gonna tighten more. Like fuck, the physics behind it makes enough fucking sense. Like let's just make it universal. Oh, I'll stop. Sorry. Appreciate you hanging out with me. I thought I'd get some more viewers, man. I fucking I got 422 subscribers. I don't know. I thought I'd get more people want to hang out, talk, whatever. I don't know. But even just one viewer, I'll keep it going. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna close down the live if I got at least one viewer. But damn, yeah, like I wish the channel would take off a little bit faster than it is, man. I don't know, man. People are so stingy with the fucking subscribes. It's free. It's literally free. All it does is like add some more videos onto your homepage, basically. You know what I mean? When you're looking at fucking YouTube for shit to watch, you don't even have to click on my videos. You know what I mean? Like fucking just subscribe to help out a fucking homeless man. So that the time that I am putting into this, I can at least make some fucking pennies off of. I don't know, man. But yeah, I figured it would take about a year to reach 1,000 subscribers anyway. So I don't know. 400's not bad. Not a bad start, at least. Trying to get my story out there in the first place. But yeah, I got like one more beer, but I got 2 packs of cigarettes. Anyway, man, I gotta hit it tomorrow. Get a couple of Uber orders. I'm not gonna call it a night or nothing. I'm not saying goodbye. But anyway, what we got? It's like 12:25. Still early. Especially because now I don't even have to clock in tomorrow. That's cool. Yeah. But yeah, it's like where I'm saying, man. I don't even know if I even want to. Like I know it's a good investment to buy land. It's not a bad investment, especially if I can ultimately I'm buying the land just with putting my Bitcoin up as collateral. I won't like I don't even, I'm not even saving and using fiat to do it. I'm saving Bitcoin to do it. Yeah, I don't know. It just I don't know because then I'm investing in land, but then also retaining my Bitcoin at the same time. I'm investing in both. I'm investing in actual physical real estate and Bitcoin for whatever it can be at the same time. And if like, hey, worst comes to worst, and the Bitcoin, whatever, fucking, it'll force sell, and it'll pay off my land. That's the crazy part. My land is still paid either way, because I would pull out fiat. I'd pull out fiat against the Bitcoin as collateral, and buy the land outright. Boom. And then I'd be paying back on the loan to get my Bitcoin back, hopefully. But if Bitcoin crashes, it's fine. It'll just pay back the loan, and then I've got free. Would have had to pay for the land either way. I don't know, man. I know it's just a stupid idea, but hell, it's all it's ever been, man. Made it to $100,000 being a stupid fucking idea. And I really don't think it's a stupid idea. Honestly, it's a step forward. Anyway, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Fucking 2.5 hours live. Well, 2 hours, 20 minutes live. Fuck, I'm surprised Fred ain't popped in and said nothing. Fucking Fred ain't popped in. Fucking Kev ain't popped in. Man. I thought for sure I'd see Kev. Yeah, I thought Saturday. Usually Saturday show, Kev shows up. But I guess the dude was busy this week. Yeah. Got one more beer to drink. I'm not closing on the live until I finish this beer, so we're good there. Like even if I have 0 viewers, I'm not at least gonna fucking. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I've got 2 other beers in the car that they've been in the car for months because I let them get hot. I don't know. Just fucking. Anyway, this beer's the slightest bit of cold still. So, but I'm fucking faded. If I crack this open, I'll end up puking. We'll wait about the 3 hour mark. When I get to the 3 hour mark, I'll probably go ahead and pop this open. Drink the rest of it. Anyway, how you doing, man? Chilling? Whew. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the shirt off. This time of night, I think it helps. Go ahead and pop off the shirt. Get some more subscribers. You know what I mean? Whatever, man. Fucking. But yeah, man, people are fucking assholes, man. You think, man, everybody that popped in, man, everybody that popped in, they should have subscribed. You know what I mean? You fucking see a homeless dude out here, and fucking, I'm still doing my thing too. You know what I mean? I'm not like literally just fucking panhandling, trying to be a fucking bum. Like, I don't know, man. If the job's bullshit anyway, why would you want to give them 40 hours of your fucking time? end up puking. Damn. Yeah, I can't drink. I can try to drink. It doesn't work. I feel like I'm gonna puke. Don't worry, if I puke, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna like right at the camera or nothing. You know what I mean? Oh man, I have to pop out of the car at least or something. It might be the cigarette. I'm gonna stand up. I don't think it's gonna hurt to stand up. I feel like I'm gonna puke. I think I'll make it. Whew. Whew. All right. I usually don't drink. Uh, Whew. How y'all doing? Oh man, should be fine. Should be fine for a couple minutes at least. I just gotta not close my eyes. If I close my eyes, everything starts spinning. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I drink too much, man. I only got a 4 pack. Only got a 4 pack, and then I got one whole. It's not even open, right? But the other three, I feel like I'm gonna puke. Like I said, if I close my eyes. Fucking bugs, man. That's yeah. Bunch of bugs. Oh, yeah, I'm getting tired, man. feels like it's been a long week, man. I don't know why. Probably just because I've been lack of sleep all fucking week. I don't know, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Yeah, yeah. I'm off tomorrow, so we'll be chilling all day tomorrow. Go make 20, make $20 on Uber or whatever, just to fill up some time. Yeah. All right, man. I think I'm gonna crawl on the back and zone out for a little bit. See if nobody comes by and want to wake me up early in the morning or some shit. I hate going to sleep with another beer left. Shit. What else can I do? You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, man. I think it's about time for me to go to sleep, crash out for the night. Appreciate you chilling. I wish the show could have been a little bit better, man. Fucking basically, invested some money into the show being, a little more of an audience getting here, whatever. But all right, man. Appreciate you chilling. Later on, man.